So where will your next real estate lead come from? With AgentOnTheGo's wireless connectivity, you will always have access to your leads, tasks, listings, closings, and contacts. In today's fast-paced real estate market, you can't afford to be out of the office or away from your computer. With AgentOnTheGo, you are connected to your agent's first choice database wirelessly with your internet phone. No need to sync because the information is live. Whatever you enter into your computer is on your phone, and whatever you enter on your phone is on your computer instantly. Let's take a look at some of the features in AgentOnTheGo and how it works with Agent's First Choice. Here, we've opened up Agent's First Choice on our desktop computer, and we've clicked on the single today's calendar. Here we can see a list of items that we need to do today. If I highlight an item such as Meet Kim Smith at LandVoice, I can see all the details associated with this particular event. If I go to Contacts, I can get to my contacts in my contact database. Type in the first couple letters of their last name, and it'll pull up all the people with that particular last name. Notice by highlighting the contact, I can see all the contact's details, what transactions they're involved in, what their contact phone numbers are, email, websites, what upcoming calendar events, and history. I can also pull up my listings and my closings. Same thing with listings and closings. I can see all the details that are associated with those particular transactions. Want to look at any new leads that have come in today? These particular leads I receive every day from LandVoice for my new for sale by owners. So let's go back to our tasks and take a look at a couple of items. Let's click on our Meet Kim Smith at LandVoice item because it seems to conflict with our closing date of 11/36 Diamond Summit. So far what we've looked at isn't really new because you would expect a good contact manager to tell you all these different things. But let's go ahead and look and see how this information is now displayed on our phone. Because we can't show you our real phone, we'll show you a simulator. Now this phone is actually live, and everything that you're seeing is live on the phone. We're going to go ahead and open up our phone. And your internet phone may be slightly different. We're using the new BlackBerry Storm. We're going to go ahead and click on the browser. We're going to go to the home page that was provided in the Agent's First Choice setup. And notice we have our tasks, our leads, our closings, our listings, and our contacts. By clicking on one of the links, such as today's tasks, and we'll go ahead and we'll just refresh the phone just for good measure. And there we see at the bottom of the page on January 26th at 1 o'clock to Meet Kim Smith at LandVoice. Let's go ahead and minimize the phone now and go back to our computer, and let's change the time that we meet Kim Smith. Let's suppose that we had called Kim from our phone and rescheduled our appointment. Instead of being at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and conflicting with our closing, let's say that we could meet him at 8 o'clock in the morning. Since I've gone ahead and dragged Kim Smith's new meeting time up to 8 o'clock, now let's go ahead and open up our phone again. Let's go ahead and click refresh. And note that every phone is slightly different. In this particular phone, because the page was already open, it's just like a web browser. And information's changed at the database. We need to click the refresh. Had we been at another screen and come to this, it would have automatically made the changes for us. And notice, now Meet Kim Smith at LandVoice is at 8 o'clock in the morning. And if I were to go ahead and click on Meet Kim Smith at LandVoice, it'll pull up the event details for us. Here we can see for the event details, the date that it's supposed to happen, the time, and the people that are involved with this particular event. So we can see in our notes, Meet Kim at the LandVoice office to discuss the new listing. Suppose that we wanted to call Kim Smith right now. What we could do is simply click on the link, Kim Smith recipient, click on his phone number, and it brings up the call. since we don't really want to call Kim Smith right now, we're going to go ahead and cancel this. But had I chosen call, the phone would have automatically dialed for me. You'll also notice when we're on Kim Smith's file, we can see what other transactions he's involved in and what additional calendar events are upcoming with Kim Smith. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's look at our leads this time. And here we have the same leads that are contained within our Agent's First Choice in the leads box. Shall we take a look at our closings? Let's go ahead and open up our closings in Agent's First Choice so we can see how it's reflected actually on our computer. Notice our highlighted closing for 710 Diamond Summit Lucero. On the right-hand side, I can see all the details that are associated with this particular closing. The people that are involved, the property information, what the next task is, what the history has been. Everything that's contained within my database is also on my phone, but we can see how it's going to be displayed on our phone here. By choosing a right mouse click and then choosing the menu item of View Details, I'll pull up all the additional details for this particular closing. Notice that there's two events in the calendar items for this particular closing. One is to drop off the keys, and the other is the actual closing date. Let's go ahead and look and see how this reflects on our phone. Notice on our phone we have two tasks for this particular closing, to drop off the keys and the closing date. To give you an idea of just how powerful this is, let's go ahead and change another closing's date and see how it's reflected on our phone. Let's open up the 1136 Diamond Summit Anderson closing. Notice I don't have to go ahead and open up closings from here. I can actually open up this particular closing from the task menu. Suppose that something happened. Like, suppose that the actual closing doesn't occur on the 26th. We got ready to get ready for the closing, and somebody said, oh, we don't have all the docs, and so we need to go ahead and close this, or we need to go ahead and change the closing date. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to change the closing date on our desktop, and we're going to see how it changes it on our phone. Notice we have a closing date of 1/26 of 2009. We're going to go ahead and change this to the 28th. And notice that Agent's First Choice asks if I want to change not only the closing date, but any of the trigger events that are also associated with it. And these are the ones that come from my campaigns, which are things that are happening, perhaps like this walkthrough, which typically would happen one day prior to the closing. Notice how now the closing date's been changed to the 28th, and the walkthrough, which happens one day prior to the closing, is happening on the 27th. Let's go ahead and open up our phone and see how it was reflected on our phone. Instead of opening up our closings, let's open up today's tasks. Because we didn't refresh, let's go ahead and just open up today's task in our closing date of the 1136 Diamond Summit Anderson. Notice when I actually open up the closing, the correct task, closing date, and walkthrough is in the closing where it should be, on the 27th and the 28th. That's because we changed pages from where it was. If we were to go back to today's tasks, we wouldn't see that closing event in there anymore. Want to call somebody from your listing or your closing? Just simply highlight the person like we did in tasks. Pick the number that you want to call, and it will direct dial for you. Click on their email link, and it'll pull up your email browser. Type in your subject and what the content of your message is. Depending upon where your commands are for your phone, on the particular BlackBerry Storm, we're going to click our Commands button and pull up the Send button. Of course, we're not going to really send it out. We're going to go ahead and discard this message. We'll cover in greater detail some of the additional features that are contained within your Agent on the Go. As a busy real estate professional, you just don't have time to manage multiple contact database systems. With Agent's First Choice and Agent on the Go, everything's in one central database, but is available to you on a variety of different platforms. You wouldn't want to stop and have to pull up your laptop computer in order to get to the information. Everything is available to you on your computer and on your phone.